Have you ever wanted to build a world that exists only in your imagination or in your dreams? A place where the normal rules of reality don't exist or apply? Well, today, I'm going to show you how I take a simple stack of National Geographic magazines, some scissors, and a glue stick, and turn it all into a window inside a dream. This isn't just about cutting and pasting, and I'm going to walk you through my entire process, from blank page beginning to dreamscape at the end. Section 1, the philosophy and the tools. So before we start cutting, let's talk about what we're actually doing here. What is surrealism? Surrealism kicked off as an art movement back in the 1920s. Artists and writers like the movement's founder, Andre Breton, wanted to smash together the contradictions of dream and reality to create a super reality. They were fascinated by Sigmund Freud's about dreams and the subconscious. They believed that if they could tap into that hidden subconscious, they could get a deeper, more profound truth. And collage was the perfect way to do it. Think about it. It's all about mashing things together that don't seem to belong. That's exactly what dreams are made of. Artists like Max Ernst and Hannah Hawk used collage to make the bizarre, often funny, and definitely thought-provoking images that completely challenged the way we see the rational world. They were building stories that went beyond everyday life. As we do this, remember, we are not just trying to make a pretty picture. We're telling a story that comes from somewhere deep inside. We're embracing the weird and the beautiful. Grab your tools and let's get collaging. I flipped through the first few pages and bam, I already find one of my backgrounds. It's a desert scene featured here. And I keep flipping through the magazine, finding other elements to use as symbols. Set that aside and keep flipping through the magazine for more backgrounds and symbols. Cutting out this yellow window, and I don't yet know if I'll use it, but it sure looks cool. So let's set it aside for now and cut out this hippo mouth, because why not? And then I notice this 1970s ad of this domestic scene with a woman and her cooking up something. Set that aside. And then I find these silver pens in this other ad that I could do something with to add a ridiculous spin to a scene. So let's keep flipping. There's a lot of cool images in here. Look at this giant hot air balloon. Let's cut it out. Set that aside. Look at these black and white images. So cool. Stunning. But I'm leaving those for now. They're just not quite the right size I want. I do like that small woman there, but on the back, there's this hung man that I want to do something with later on. So let's keep searching for now. Here we go. I like this woman and this man sitting on this old bench. Thinking of putting them in a different background. And here I do go back to that blue body of water and set that aside. Let's look for something striking. I need more backgrounds. Bam, here we go. This green landscape catches my eye. Deep rolling fields with winding trails in the distance. It feels calm, almost meditative, like it's holding its breath for something strange to happen. Now I need a central figure, something unexpected to live in this landscape. And there he is, a young man, maybe a monk, in dark reddish-brown robes, cross-legged over an old book. He has this quiet intensity, but it still needs something that pops. Here I start cutting out some smaller elements I could use, such as this bear. Okay, let's see everything that I have gathered so far. I've got some backgrounds like this desert. I've got this woman holding out her hand. I've got that little notebook. I've got this bear and the man. I've got monk guy with the book. I've got this green background. This blue one. This other blue one with the jellyfish looking balloon. A few smaller elements like critters. So let's set those aside and let's look at our backgrounds. We've got the desert scene here, which I already am imagining some of the elements that I'll be placing in there. But let's put that aside. I want to work on this green one with the spiraling roads in the distance. So let's cut it down to size. Now let's cut out some of these small elements, fussy cutting out the pens. More fussy cutting around the woman and the microwave stove. I just want to have them ready to go for when I start arranging them, rehearsing them, if you will, into the scenes. This one is really funny. This woman holding out this tiny turtle. I think I know what I might do. Hint, I will replace the turtle. Let's cut out some of these critters, like this iguana or lizard of some sort, and this desert book. Can you guess where I will place these? Now that I've gathered my cast of characters and worlds, it's time for rehearsal. No glue yet, just moving pieces around, seeing what fits, letting each collage find its own rhythm. First, the green landscape spread. I placed the monk right in the center. He's still the point in this rolling green world. Then I weave the retro stripes across the background, letting them curve and twist like surreal rivers of light. The balance between serenity and chaos feels perfect. So I mentioned earlier that I needed something that popped into the scene, so I did have to dig into my paper scraps to find this groovy, curvy orange and yellow stripes. And they just give it such a 1970s retro feel that just really pops against this muted green background. And then we have our monk with his quiet intensity sitting at the center of this surreal landscape. background is a pure contrast to the last. A vast desert landscape. Warm tones, long shadows, that feeling of endless heat. I know immediately I want critters here. Little desert residents to populate this strange place. Only that they're not exactly little in scale. I find a red-headed bird and want to tuck him into the left side of this rock. And then on the right, I want a giant lizard head blending into a mound of dirt. Now it's time to take my X-Acto knife and do what I do best. Make small cuts into the background with my blades to nestle all these elements so that they blend in to this surreal landscape. Let's make it come to life. We're not gluing yet, but we want to see or rehearse the different elements and characters, such as the pens, the giant silver pen, our smiling 1970s dinner lady, her stove, microwave, and of course, the red desert world book. So I'm cutting into some of these rocks and just seeing where I think that I will be placing the central elements. And I probably did have the most difficult time with this desert scene in particular. I took the longest time with the rehearsal, let's say. And I snapped a few photos to see what would work and what wouldn't work. And I did change it up a few times, and I'll be honest, I had to take a break, as in a couple of days, and return to it. You'll see what I mean, because in an upcoming scene, you'll see that I add a pretty major element. Once you have a composition that you love, it is time to glue. I'm using the Scotch permanent glue stick. And what I want to do first, after I've taken a photo of the composition so I remember exactly where I wanted it, just gently move those. But before I move even more things, I'm just going to take the top here. And I also measured it out with this ruler. It's going to be about 12 inches across. You want a flat tool, either like a flat edge like this, or if you have like a brayer roller. I used to have one and I lost it, so. But I mean, you can use your fingers. The only thing with that is that if you want this to look as like professional as you can, then you might not want to smudge it with your fingers and spreading the mess. But if it's just for practice, it's just for you, that's fine. Just trying to let you know what helps to keep a more cleaner look. And then this is for scraping off glue. I actually did get a little glue overlap here. Okay, I think I got it. Next thing I want to bring in is, so we're working in layers, right? So background layer goes down first, and actually I am going to glue this onto a board as well. So you can either get cardboard, cardstock, canvas, even like a wood board. For this one, I'm choosing brown cardstock. before even doing that, I'm gonna trim anything that needs to be cleaned up around the edges. Okay, yeah, that's about 12 inches exact. For the desert, I glue down the window first. The lady is next, then the towering pens and the stove. And then I found these yellow flowers that I thought went well with the other yellow splashes in the desert. And the book has to be tucked in just right because I want to be able to cover the hard lines of the window and blend it more seamlessly with everything else. Background and foreground. And I really like how this desert dinner party came together. And for the final collage, I find a tall vertical background of pure blue sky with a transparent hot air balloon floating up top. But the balloon looks almost like a jellyfish drifting in some sky ocean. Our next image is this fluffy brown bear. For the foreground, I choose the profile of a giant woman, head and shoulders up, grinning at something in her hands. And in her palm, a tiny fluffy brown bear. Or at least I replaced the small turtle with the fluffy brown bear. 3 elements, but together they're telling a story I could never have planned. The blue sky scene, it's so simple, it's almost minimalist. The giant woman near the bottom, the bear in her palm, and the strange jellyfish balloon drifting along, drifting above. I play with spacing so the viewer's eye moves from her smile to the bear, then up to the floating balloon. Like reading a sentence in an unknown dream language. Clean edges, smooth layers, each piece locking the dream in place. And there they are, 3 new dreamscapes pulling from scraps and instinct. A monk surrounded by swirling retro energy, a desert dinner party with pens for monuments, and a window looking out into a surreal desert, and a giant woman cradling a bear under a jellyfish balloon. Do they mean anything? Or maybe they're just postcards from somewhere your waking mind can't reach. That's the joy of Surreal Collage. You get to build a place that only exists when you put it together. I really hope this has inspired you to start your own surreal collage journey, or that you did follow along with me. I can't encourage you enough to just grab some old magazines and see what stories are waiting for you in those pages. If you do make something, I would absolutely love to see it. Let me know in the comments what your first collage dreamscape looks like, or if you have any questions, drop them down below. And I'd really appreciate it if you give this video a like and consider subscribing for more collage paper chaos. Happy collaging. Stay sticky.